And now we come to the fourth pillar as a source for economic growth. The fourth pillar is sound governance, meaning that the economy is well managed by competent and ethical authorities. An essential element of sound governance is respect for the rule of law, the principle that the person and no person is above the law. That is, all people must follow the same rules and regulations regardless of their wealth or position. Sound governance also requires that public officials administer the government responsibly. A result of sound governance is that entrepreneurs and others in the economy feel confident that the government will treat them fairly. Without sound governance, people spend time and effort protecting themselves from corrupt officials and arbitrarily applied laws rather than on productive activities. A number of systems support sound governance. The first is a fair legal system. The legal system consists of laws and methods of law enforcement, including government agencies, the courts, and the police. When the system works well, it helps people protect the money and other rewards they have received for productive activities. It does so by fighting theft, protecting property rights, and enforcing contracts. The legal system also protects the right to profit from intellectual property, ideas or discoveries, with patents, trademarks, and copyrights. For example, author J.K. Rowling owns the copyright for the Harry Potter books. Anyone wishing to use her material or make movies from her books must get permission and pay for the legal right to use her work. The protections of a fair legal system create incentives for entrepreneurs, workers, investors, and property owners to contribute to economic growth. When the rewards for hard work are unprotected, the incentives for such work are weak. The second aspect is a fair regulatory system. A variety of government agencies work to protect people and natural resources from harm by making and enforcing regulations. In the U.S. economy, for example, OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, enforces regulations to protect workers from dangerous working conditions. The CPSC, Consumer Product Safety Commission, aims to protect consumers from unsafe products. And the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, oversees regulations meant to ward off environmental problems. Like most things, the creation of regulations involves trade-offs. Regulations that limit risk-taking are a constraint on productivity. For example, pharmaceutical companies must conduct tests to determine that new drugs are safe and effective. If regulations didn't require those tests, it would be easier to introduce new drugs, but more likely that some of the drugs would cause harm to people. Likewise, environmental regulations that limit toxic emissions make production more expensive, but they also help prevent environmental disasters that would harm people and natural resources critical to the normal functioning of an economy. It is therefore appropriate for regulators to weigh the costs of regulations against the benefits and to adopt those regulations that do more good than harm. And then the third aspect is a fair tax system. The government must collect taxes from individuals and firms in a reasonable and consistent manner. A failed tax system cannot support the legal and regulatory systems that you just learned are vital to economic growth, not to mention the construction of roads, bridges, and other infrastructure. If taxes are not collected, or if they are siphoned off by corrupt public officials, these needs will go unfulfilled and productivity will suffer. In the other extreme, unfairly high tax rates can dissuade people from working and again harm productivity. For example, in 2011, Italy's largest labor union threatened to go on strike. And this was in response to tax increases approved by the Italian government. In the United States, however, the Internal Revenue Service ensures that individuals and businesses comply with tax laws. The Government Accountability Office, among other governmental agencies, oversees how taxpayer dollars are used.